Mikey, what's up, man? Long time since we've done this, dude. Since we've been on camera. It's funny. When I think back, like the whole like Nickel City Mafia thing, that started like 10 years ago when you were riding in your car and we were carpooling to work and we would have these ridiculous conversations about all kinds of things that are branched into fantasy sports and football. And here we are, dude. We've got, you've got this vibrant channel with all these different shows and here we are back again. It's come kind of full circle and we're just talking about stuff again.
Yeah, I remember us going into the VP lounge at work and doing our golf show. Remember that? You had your phone,
Yeah.
you were recording us, and we were talking about DFS golf, DraftKings, and that was my first exposure to, putting up a video. Didn't even have the show at that time. Didn't have the Nickel City Mafia Network. But here we are, and you helped me get that going too. We were I was like, Tony, I'm trying to prove to my friends, actually more my kids, trying to prove to my kids that I can do this. I'm like, I was tired of them watching YouTube. I'm like, why are you guys doing this? I said, all right, Dad's going to do it. So I talked to you, helped me come up with the name. Had to be something Buffalo related. It's always been about Buffalo and then some, but mostly sports. But here we are. We're doing something new, Tony.
Well, I think the idea is, the spirit of kind of what we started in your car was just about like two guys talking about all kinds of things. When you're in a car for an hour and 20 minutes in traffic, it's amazing the things that you can kind of talk about. But inevitably, what we'd always get into debates about is kind of like, rank this, top 5 this, top 10 that. So we thought, what a great way to do show. And it doesn't have to be anything even crazy where we're trying to narrow it down like, oh, give me the top 5 teams in the NFL, the top 10, NFL quarterbacks of all times, but just anything, right?
Yeah.
And like one of the big things that we kind of hit on early on that we started talking through was kind of things that people wear, right? Because you know this, I'm pretty particular about fashion. I'm a fairly fashionable guy. You over the years have gone through a transformation of a guy who I'd say is kind of like, I don't really care, to a guy who cares pretty significantly about the things that he puts on and wears.
Yeah, I got you at work. I'm going to put his name out there. I got Colt at work. Both of you are like that. And you give me a hard time when I'm wearing these things that you thought were wrong. So I learned from you, took some notes. Yeah, changed a few things, but I still, when we get into it, got some questions for you. But good stuff. These are things that, what we're going to be talking about, things that you guys do that are kind of offend me that I'm thinking should never be done. And then I've done some things as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun to talk about this.
No, it is funny. And I think part of what we're trying to do here is have an open forum where people can log in and comment, kind of these evergreen shows where it's like we can look back and laugh and see the things that we were talking about then, but also allow for people to kind of collaborate and talk with us and say, you're full of crap. That's BS. I do that all the time. It's totally appropriate. And some of these things are pretty controversial. And when I say controversial, we're going to see both sides of the argument. It's much like, did you vote for Trump or did you vote for Kamala? We're going to get much different opinions on both sides of the aisles here. And so that's what I think makes for a good show, because I think you and I have a lot of same things that we both feel are like, that's not really okay for guys to do. But at the same point in time, there are some things that we disagree on. And that's really where the magic comes to play here.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm looking forward to doing our first Rank This show.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, why don't we just jump right into it, dude? For me, one of the things that I absolutely cannot stand, and it's something that I've told you before, it's actually had an impact on your life. We talked about it today earlier, and we were kind of having the setup for this show, right? I cannot stand when people wear white socks with black tennis shoes, right? But this also extends further than that, right? And it's white socks with like jeans, pants. It's like, dude, don't wear some white socks. Like, if you're going to wear white socks, the only time white socks are absolutely appropriate are if you're playing a sport and the sport requires as part of the uniform that you're wearing white socks, or you're wearing white shoes. Other than that, it's not okay to wear white socks if you're a guy. It's never okay. And I'll give you the main reason why, right? We talked about this a little bit earlier, but socks have become a fashion statement. You don't necessarily have to match your socks exactly to your shoes. Part of the fashion statements that's out there now that's been kind of put forward by companies like Stance and other folks is like to have wild and crazy socks with all kind of colors and designs, even meant to clash with the shoes that you're wearing. But it is still not okay to wear white socks with tennis shoes that are not white, or suit pants or anything like that. So I would say for me, number 5 on the list, White Sox, those go right into the garbage.
So Tony, you kind of jumped into it without even telling the folks what we're ranking today. These are the top 5 things men should never wear. And this is something you hit me up with a couple years ago because, I changed. I'm like, used to be a Nike guy, and then I'm like, I'm going Converse. And I had some
Well,
white Converse with my
you're
white
already
socks.
taking me down a tangent. I'm just saying.
Okay,
Go ahead.
okay. What's up? So I switched over to the Converse. Started with the white Converse, got the white socks. And let me just tell you, all my life, Tony, I've only had white socks. Now I get it. Wearing a
That
suit
says a
with
lot
dark
about you, just so you know.
with dark shoes. Okay, I get it. I'm not gonna wear white dress socks. Never in my life would I. But with shoes, right? Sneakers, as we call them back east. With shoes, I'm thinking, what does it matter? But white socks go with everything. And
No, they
so
go with nothing, just so we're clear about that.
okay, so where I offended you was one day I'm like, all right, I finally got some new black Converse. And sure enough, I was sporting my white socks. Now, not tube socks. I'm not going all the way up to the knees like old school. But they were like, I don't know, they were up to the calf, maybe a little bit, right below the
Oh
calf.
my.
And you just didn't like it. You're like, dude, like you were kind of trying to be cool about it. Where you're like, dude, what you wearing there? I'm like, what's wrong? You're like, black shoes, dude. You need to wearing black socks. To that point, Tony, other than black socks, I never had anything else like as far as other than white socks. So you shocked me with that. I'm like, what? This goes with everything. I see kids wearing white socks with everything, and then you corrected me. And so guess what? Now I wear my black shoes and I wear my black socks. But damn it, I would still love to wear my white socks with those black shoes, but I can't do it around you guys.
Well,
Just
I
can't.
mean, I will say this. Culture today is a little bit different, right? So we see things like kids. You and I both have kids that are teenagers. I have kids that are younger. You have a couple kids that are older. And the styles and fashions that they're into now obviously have changed over time. And so you have seen, some guys walking around with tube socks up to their calves and, all different kinds of different shoes. But one of the things that you hit on that drives me absolutely nuts is when people wear Nike shoes with, I don't know, Adidas socks or Vans with Converse socks. Like, dude, if you're going to wear branded socks, wear the brand of shoes that you have on your feet. And it drives me nuts. You know what I mean? Like, why would you ever do that? You look like a moron walking around cross-branded. Hey, I got Nike shoes on, but I got Reebok socks on. It's like it's just little things like that. And to me, it's a larger reflection of kind of how you value your projection of who you are in the world. Like, right? Like if you don't take the 5 minutes to make sure that your socks match your shoes or that you write the right brand on your socks, so you're not, like I said, wearing Adidas socks with Asics shoes. It's just the little things that I think make all the difference in the world, where you can let people know, like, hey, I give a crap about the way I look. I understand that I'm not a total doofus out here. But again, these are just little things, and it drives me nuts. So as a man, you can't do that. Little kid, if you're 12 years old, you can do whatever the hell you want. If you're a woman, especially a beautiful woman, my wife went out and she had white socks pulled up to her knees, people would think that's sexy. If I do that, people are going to be like, he's a slob, he's a moron, he obviously has no clue or any understanding of what's going on in life. So again, it's just a reflection that I don't think anybody needs to project out there. And you as my friend, I just am like, dude, just don't do it. Unless you got a pair of like, all white Air Force Ones, okay, you can wear white tube socks. Just make sure they're Nike tube socks.
All right. Well, what I do, Tony, is I wear the low cut. So even though might have
That's
Converse
contentious now
shoes,
too. That the low cut, the no show, like that's a sign of like our age group. Just throwing it out there.
okay, that's good to know. That's another thing I learned from you. So I'm going with the low cut, and if I am wearing my Converse and I buy Adidas black socks, you're not going to see the Adidas logos, right? It's okay. I'm not showing you that. So
That's
even
fine.
if I am cross branding, I'm kind of hiding it, so I get away with it. But this is a funny one just because, dude, all my life is white socks. White socks for everything. That's all I owned. And now it feels like all I own is black socks. But I got a few white socks too. Now let me ask you this. If I'm wearing white Converse, can I go black, or it has to be white on white, black shoes on black shoes on black socks?
My preference is always to have socks match shoes. So if you come and look at my sock drawer, I got about 150 pairs of socks in about 73 different colors because it's important for me to those things to match. the however in this is I do think it's okay if you want to wear black socks with white shoes. And some people might say that's insane. It's completely opposite of what you just said. But the truth of the matter is you can kind of get away with it, right? Like you see guys playing golf and they got the low cut black socks. You almost don't even notice them. Like black socks kind of disappear into your legs and into your shoes. So for me, black socks are okay. You can wear them with white shoes. I would say it's not my first choice, but I'm not going to have an aneurysm if I see you do it.
All right, all right. Well, I think the low cut helps with that, like you said as well, and that's pretty much what I go with these days. Nothing too high over the shoe, right? Nothing too high for me. So funny stuff, good, and that's what I learned that from you. So over the years, I've morphed my outfit slightly, just slightly.
Just slightly. Okay, so jumping down the list. So 5 is white socks with black shoes. 4 is one of yours. This one is a little contentious between the two of us, but I'm going to go ahead and let you lay this one out.
Yeah. So I think it's a matter of where you grew up, and unfortunately, I'm out in California now, so I have to see this all.
Unfortunately, is that you don't want to be in California, or what's the deal with that?
There's times I wish I weren't, but I have family out here, and there's many reasons to move out of California, and this is one of them. So this started, man, before I worked where we currently are, and I used to work with people, and I just feel, Tony, that no man, unless you're at the beach, I don't want to make that one exception because I get it, you're at the beach. No man should wear open-toed shoes/sandals. I know I'm going to hear some heat about this one, Tony, but let's face it, men's feet are damn ugly. 90% of men, and yes, I know that exact stat. I looked it up. 90% of men do not take care of their feet, Tony. They're hairy. They got claws for toenails. They got fungus in those toenails. Dirty, disgusting. The toes look like they've been kicking their feet against a wall for 5 minutes. I don't know, because guys got these construction jobs. I don't need to see that, Tony. It's disgusts me. When I go into a grocery store and I see a man and I have to see his feet, and it's hard to look away. You'd be like, Mike, why can't you just turn away? I don't know. It just draws me, and I'm like, oh my God, I almost want to leave and try to another grocery store. But in California, it's impossible to get away with. But Tony, my biggest problem is at the office. Do not wear open-toed shoes where I'm with you for 8 hours a day, especially at a place that has heavy machinery. Now, we have heavy machinery. I'm trying to get HR to incorporate this rule that
steel-toed boots only at work,
steel-toed
right?
boots, closed-toed shoes. And, only those, which are typically females, like I said, 90% of men do not take care of their feet. 90% of women do. And I'm okay with that. But Tony, you're an offender. I have many other folks, I'm not going to drop names, but there's other offenders. But I'll tell you what, the top dogs, you never see that. You never see open-toed sandals. But some of you guys, I don't know, Tony, that's my thought. It just should be indecent exposure, in my opinion. Get those
well, I mean, I there's a couple things that I agree on you. One, feet in general are disgusting, right? Like most people just do not take care of their feet the way they should. Number two, to your point, men's feet are by and large disgusting. Even men who take care of their feet, which I do. I'm meticulous about a lot of things. My feet are one of them. And I would say that even mine, like for men's feet, they're great, but like in the hierarchy of just feet in general, they're still pretty ugly. Like little kids' feet, women's feet, beautiful, great, right? Women sometimes, because of the shoes that they wear, they get a gnarly, they get the bone spurs, they get all the corns and all the other weird stuff going on. But men's feet, by and large, are disgusting. So I get it. But I do think that your comment about where you're from or the cultural aspects of things, and this is what I wanted to ask you, is did you work with a lot of Indian people previously?
I did.
People from India.
I did.
Okay, so people from India, like this has just been my experience, right? Don't wear a lot of socks, don't wear a lot of shoes. People of my culture, right? So I'm half Pacific Islander, right? I'm half Samoan. Like you just don't wear shoes. You wear sandals all the time. So for me, it's like it's something that I was kind of born and raised doing, wearing sandals all the time. And so we have the luxury of living in Southern California where you can wear sandals in November and December because from a climate perspective, it's okay. It's not a big deal. So I do think that there's some parameters around it. I am an offender of you don't wear them at work, right? I wear sandals at work. I don't know, 4 out of 5 days when I'm there. And for me, it's because I'm typically doing what we're doing right now. I'm on a Zoom meeting. I mean, Lord knows I don't even have to wear pants if I don't want to, but I do out of respect for people in the office. But I would say there's just something for me that's very calming and relaxing about wearing sandals. And to your point, I feel like I'm at the beach, I'm on vacation. There's just a level of ease and just relaxation that kind of runs through me when I can feel the breeze through my toes. Like it's a beautiful thing.
I used to work for a company. It was the Auto Club, Southern California. And the president there said, you have to dress to impress. And wearing sandals is not impressing anybody at all. So,
if you have beautiful toes like me, it's pretty impressive.
No, dude. I've seen those dogs and no thank you. But I will say, like, the parameters. Like, okay, Coney, if you want to wear your sandals, you have an office. You have
socially acceptable settings when you can wear sandals is what you're saying.
So beach, 100%. Your backyard, 100%. You want to go in your office and kick off your shoes and show those feet? Great. When you walk out that door, put on some damn closed-toed shoes. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. So you're saying it's okay if I wear sandals at my house in my backyard, but what about if I go over your house for a barbecue? And it's outside. We're mostly outside in the backyard.
House rules. You have to ask the person.
Like, yeah, I gotta call you. I gotta send you a text message to ask you if it's okay if I wear sandals.
I'm gonna actually put that out there. Yeah, in the invite, I'll specify that for you, Tony, because I know you're
no sandals. Okay. So let's throw some scenarios around this because I want to get to the heart of it when it's appropriate and when it's not. So mostly outdoor setting where 70 to 80% of what you're going to be doing. Sporting event, barbecue, kids soccer game, picnic for family reunion. Is that appropriate to wear sandals?
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to stop you. So yes, it is, Tony. I would say I would never do it. I'm able to, in those settings, I'm able to kind of like, all right, these guys are showing their feet. I'm going to move away to a table that's not. Because there's going to be a lot of us people that are keeping the toes covered up.
Okay, so
yes, outdoor settings, I guess.
Okay, what about an outdoor wedding?
Oh, no.
Okay,
outdoor wedding, no.
Okay, what about an outdoor wedding on the beach?
Yes, as I said, on the beach, it's going to have to be okay. It's really up to the bride and the groom. It's up to them. Their rules.
Okay, no, this is good. We're establishing some parameters around where you're comfortable with feet and where you're not, which is fine. Okay. What about on a boat?
No.
No sandals on a boat?
No, man. No.
You're on a fishing trip with the buddies in the middle of the ocean. You're on a lake in Lake Michigan, and you guys are out there fishing for the day, drinking beer, hanging out. No sandals.
No sandals. Put those moccasins on that cover your feet. They actually have these good grips now, so you won't be sliding and falling on the boat. Yeah, there's a lot of things that can hurt you on a boat, Tony.
So then where would you classify Crocs in the higher? Are those sandals or those shoes?
Ooh, Crocs are okay. They cover your toes. Buddy. I'm not a fan of those things. I think they're like
they're the ugliest shoes that have ever been made. Just throwing it out there.
My son has them, and I always say to him, Grumpy from the Seven Dwarfs called, and he wants his shoes back. That's what I tell him all the time.
And again, it's my perception of things, and I know we're going off at a tangent on Crocs here, but I just saying, like, just if you're in general, just don't do it. Like, it's not a good look. Like, you wear Crocs and you're telling people something about yourself that you don't want out there in the universe. I'm just saying.
So we're taking this to another level here. But so my son who owns Crocs, at night when I got to take the dog out back, I'll slip on his Crocs and take him out.
That's back. Okay.
I'm not putting on my good shoes.
Yeah, no, that in that setting, like, it's like house shoes. Like, I see people, to your point about sandals, I see people wear like house slippers, house shoes, like stuff you wear in the house to keep your feet warm. You know, you get it when you're 50 years old, you get them for Christmas from people that don't know you very well. You know, those, you know, like, you know what I'm talking about, right? I see
Yeah.
people wear those to the store and I'm like, dude, like, really? Like, you couldn't slip on some shoes or some sandals to wear to the store? Like, no house shoes,
No
no slippers.
sandals. No sandals. Don't bring those into the grocery store. You're
What are you so
infecting my
scared
you're
about? Are you
infecting
scared
my
like
food.
someone's like going to be like, "Ooh, that's a nice watermelon. Let me see if it's ready," and like tap it with their big toe? Like, I don't understand what you're so
Maybe.
scared of.
I think so. I mean, there's bacteria on some of those toenails, like going into my food, man. Please keep it away from me.
Look, I fully get it. We went through this whole phase of COVID where it was like, you know, I remember like during COVID, it was like you'd be walking down the street and you'd see somebody on the other side of the street and you're like, what are we supposed to do? Like, are we okay to walk? And it's like that made you think about everything. Remember like going to the
Yeah.
grocery store and processing your food? Like you'd go to the grocery store and bring all your stuff back in the garage and like wipe it down with like bleach and like all this other BS. And I agree with you. I think that made a lot of us really look at things that we kind of took for granted and be like, man, that's dirty and disgusting. And you're right. Like one of the the most disgusting things is if you walk around with bare feet outside and then you come back in your house, you're basically tracking all that garbage back in your house. Like one of the
Yep.
rules we have is you cannot wear shoes in the house. Like when you come home, your shoes go off. So when we have people come over, people walk around in their socks in our house. It is a little weird, but that's why I say, hey, if you've got sandals, it's even easier. Just slip your sandals off, walk around barefoot. It's not a big deal because our floors are clean.
You just gave me a great idea. I'm gonna have a little thing of socks. So as people come to my house, take off your shoes, put on the socks, please. Cover those
You're
toes,
gonna have loner
and I'll have
socks
the
like a
nice.
bowling alley.
No, I'll have yes, exactly. I'll have those socks with the
I,
rubber on the bottom so you don't slip.
I just think about this. You don't like people's feet or sandals, but you're gonna give out temporary socks for people to wear, and then they're gonna give them back to you when they're done. That's disgusting.
I'll have a trash bag, throw them in the trash. I'll always have fresh socks, Tony. They'll never be worn by more than one person. I
Oh my
guarantee you
god,
that.
dude! You're gonna spend $46 a week on socks for people to wear when they
This
come
is
over your house.
only for visitors. I don't get a lot of visitors. You know, we got holidays coming
Yeah, it's
around.
because you
We're
won't
gonna
let
get
people
some
wear
fun.
sandals. That's why people don't want to
But
go over your house.
dude, there's not a person in my family. I'm thinking, okay, only Gene. You've met Gene, my wife's. He's a pastor, so of
Yeah,
course they love to wear their
Jesus wore socks
sandals.
or sandals. There you go.
Yeah,
There's another
I get it.
person.
I get it. You're gonna throw that at me. All right, but he wore it in appropriate settings.
They wore them all the time. They had nothing else to wear. All they had was
Exactly.
sandals.
Exactly. Times have changed, man. There's more to wear. And
Okay.
Jesus had perfect feet. I mean, he had the most perfect feet. So he's okay. He gets a pass,
Dude,
of
you
course.
imagine how nasty his feet actually were? Like, there's multiple passages in the Bible, like where people are like washing other people's feet. Like, there's this
Oh
whole
God.
like piece where this woman is using oil and she's using oil and her hair to clean Jesus's feet. But could you imagine him walking around in the desert for like, I don't know, a week or two, and then going to somebody's house and then bending over with their hair and oil? And I'm not saying anything about the Christian religion or about Jesus or any of those things. I'm just thinking his feet must have been so stinking dirty. And like, again, you're right. He's God manifest as a human being, so his feet probably didn't even stink. At the same point in time, like just that image, I remember as a kid, like I bet his feet were really dirty. I remember being overwhelmed thinking that. Anyways, so sandals are a no-go for you, is what we're guessing with number
Yeah,
4.
yeah. And you brought up a good point. Those people that do pedicures like you, I'm sure you're one of those guys who go get some
I don't do
pedicure.
pedicures. I
You
don't
don't.
like people touching my feet.
Oh, okay.
Don't touch
Okay,
my
good.
feet.
What I was gonna say is the people that do that, I feel so bad for them. I could never touch another person's feet, not even my wife's feet.
Ugh.
Whoops, I better not say that, but I can't
Yeah,
touch
you
feet.
better be careful with that. Yeah.
Woo. All right, Tony. We spent a lot on feet, and I would love to hear what people say in the comments about
It's your
this.
favorite topic,
This
feet.
is something that I'm gonna die on a hill with this one. Sorry, people. Keep those toes
Okay, so
covered when you're around me.
number 3 for me, that